Hey, I'm Jenna. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm so excited to have you here because I am starting a hand embroidery project that I've been excited about since my wedding day. So if that sounds good, stick around. Okay, so today I'm starting the project of embroidering Easter napkins, but to get the full kind of like scope of what we're doing, let me bring you back to my wedding day. Actually, the week before my wedding day. So I got married in August 2025, and the week before my wedding, I was talking to the venue. It was one of those venues that had most things included. So like the whole thing that they did was weddings. It wasn't like it was another venue that did like a restaurant or something else. It's just a wedding venue. So one of the perks to that is that a lot of the decor you have, they had like a cellar of decor so you could like pick from it. And when I went up to do the tasting, we did table decor. So we used their just like different elements from their decor collection to make our tablescape. And one were these sage green napkins. So we were doing like bud vases, and I had this white ribbon idea, and it went with these sage green napkins. So the week of the wedding, I emailed, no, I don't know how we figured it out. I'll have to think about that. But the wedding coordinator, long story long, the wedding coordinator emailed me and said, hey, we're like 20 sage green napkins short for what you need for your guest count, which was only like 100 people. It's not like it was like crazy, but was what it was. I then was like, shoot, I need sage green linen napkins. What do I do? And the answer was Amazon. Thankfully, we were getting married in my husband's hometown up in New Hampshire. So we Amazon primed sage green napkins to my, like 25, to my mother-in-law's house. And she had them, ironed them, and brought them day of the wedding, and it all ended up being fine. But then when we left, they packaged up, they cleaned, thankfully they washed them, which was so nice of them, and gave us the napkins. So I think the exact number is either 24 or 26. I want to say 24. So we have these 24 linen napkins. And I've been thinking about, I keep looking over because I have the stack. I've been thinking about what I want to do with them. And let me show you the color is like this kind of sage green. So I was like, perfect, Easter napkins. You'll see, I can link another video where I was playing around with borders. So here's one border I did with a whipped back stitch. This one I think would be great for kind of everyday napkins or maybe Christmas. So I like the design, but not for Easter. The second was this scallop design using the buttonhole stitch. I think it's really cute, but I think it kind of looks like, is the word bunting? I'm not sure, but like streamers for a birthday party. So I thought that could be a cute border to do birthday napkins. I should say I think it's 24. So I was thinking maybe like 4 groups of 6 or 6 groups of 4 to get to all 24 napkins. But that brings us to Easter. So the last 2 borders I did, I think are going to be perfect for Easter. One is this reverse chain stitch in kind of like a wavy pattern. As you can see, I just did a small section to see if I liked them. So we have this. I think the color is great. So that's going to be one. And then the second one, I think is also very Eastery, is this basket weave stitch in white, pink, and blue. So I think together they look cute as a set and look very Eastery. So that is where I'm at so far with the plan, which is, hopefully it was in the caption, but as you can tell, or in the name of it, I do hand embroidery. That's like my whole thing. So I'm hand embroidering these napkins. Okay, so the idea then is to do these borders going all the way around, but I wanted to add a little bit more to make it kind of Eastery. So today I'm going to show you how I do the border. That'll be at the end. If you didn't catch my last video, you can see just like a little brief tutorial. These ones are not complicated stitches. Very beginner friendly on how to do those borders. But then I'm thinking I want to add in the corner of them, like do it to the edge and then add in the corner some sort of like Easter embroidery here. So obviously I filmed this and I had the designs of me actually like figuring it out, but then the audio didn't work. So I'm just going to show you now the designs that I came up with. But the idea would be, I want to figure out how to do, there are these cute like envelope folds you can do with napkins. So in another video, I'll show you the actual styling I do with them and how I fold them. But for today, I want to show you the plan for the napkins and then the borders. So let's get into the plans. Okay, so let me show you where we landed on designs. I did the designing on Canva. I use Canva for my wedding planning for different like signage and stuff, and I really like it. I do pay for the premium subscription, so some of the images might not be available if you don't pay the upcharge, but there is a free, I think it's like 1 month if you want to just grab these images. Okay, so here we have the final designs. As you can see, I just made the napkins. They're 20 by 20. Oh, I should link. I don't know if I can link because I have not that many subscribers, but if I can link, I will link the linen napkins below since they're just Amazon. In Canva, you can set your own dimensions. So they're 20 by 20 napkins, so I set that. Tried to do a similar color green and then added like a similar border. The first one is this little bunny. She's definitely the hardest of the options, but I want to show you, I'm doing like one a little bit trickier option. I'm doing white for her, these are all DMC threads, DMC Blanc. For her body, DMC 819 for her ears, and then for the actual, I guess ears and the pink will be her little nose too. So probably some black for her whiskers. Okay, we'll figure that out. But for the actual egg, I think I want to do a design with some colors. So let me show you the other egg design, and then I think I'm going to play around with them being similar. Let's go down to there. Okay, so one option is just going to be like a Fabergé egg using lattice stitch. I think that'll be pretty, and let me show you the egg options. So again, here's the color of the napkin. I'm thinking greens, teals, and yellow, and then we're going to accent each of the napkins with this silver thread I got, which is G415, but also by DMC. I thought that could make it a little bit more festive. The darker green here is 503. The yellow is 677, and then the teal, I forgot to write the number, but it is this teal. I think those will be Eastery, good Eastery colors. Next, let's go to this basket of eggs. I think for these, I'm going to do the eggs just white. The basket will be basket weave. That's why I put it on the squiggle pattern, because I didn't want it to just be like a fully basket weave napkin. And then I think the silver is going to look like a detail around the handle of the basket and the bow. For the actual basket, I went with this warmer brown, this 869, as opposed to most of my browns were cool, but I think that looks, with all the other light colors, I think it'll keep it nice and warm and pretty. Okay, now we have another little bit more advanced, but I think he'll turn out really cute, is this little chick. So the chick will be that same yellow 677 that I'm using on the Fabergé egg. The beak, we're going to add a new color in, which is 741, this orange. I do think I should add this too. I'll figure out another place to add this so that it's not the only one that has orange in it. Oops. And then the egg will probably be this little white, might just be a white egg, but we shall see. The exact stitches for each element of the design I haven't decided yet, so the next video when I'm actually stitching them, I think I'll probably break it up where probably do 2 designs a video, so the series will be 3 total. But in each video with the smaller designs, we can go over like what stitches I chose and why I chose them, and then if you want to do something similar, you can either copy those stitches or do your own thing. Okay, so these are the 4 designs. I am hoping to print it. My printer is not very good, but I'm hoping to print it on water-soluble paper and then stick them on the napkin so I can get the placement right. So I'll work on that. Again, probably the next one, because I have to fill in the borders on these before I place them. Very excited to start stitching. It's the beginning of March, so I have a little bit of time till Easter, but I'm hoping to get these out a little bit sooner so that if you want to do something similar, you're able to check it out. Okay, let's head over to a top view so I can show you how to do the border designs. Here is the napkin not yet pressed with the wave pattern all the way around. As you can see, I think that'll be cute. And then in one of these, we'll do the design. I'll figure out the scaling, but I want to show you how I did it. So I saved this little bit at the end. Okay, so first the wave around was, some girls, they can draw a wave. I can't. I made a stencil, and then I just drew it. And I'm kind of going a little bit over and under, but I used a water-soluble pen to trace, and then with just like this stencil sheet that I got off Amazon, reverse chain stitch. Let's go for it. We're gonna come up through the fabric ahead of the prior stitch, so where you want the wave to turn, all the way through, loop your needle through the prior stitches without picking up any fabric underneath, all the way through, and back down. To start the reverse chain stitch, you just do a single loop forward, which gives you the first kind of little loop to go through, like that. Back down. I think this stitch is really cute too, with like for lettering on sweaters or clothes. I feel like that's really popular right now, to put like little kids' names on sweaters using stitches that look similar to this. And one nice thing is that all the bulk is on the front, so the back is just a clean set of stitches. One more time for good luck. Up through, loop under, and back down. This is the second border. It's the basket weave one. As you can see, it comes together nicely in the corner and looks very festive. For the blue lines, I'm going to use 827, a little bit of cleaner writing there, and then for the pink, I'm using 3713. Let me just show you how I plan it out, and then we'll go over the stitch itself. The borders, I'm doing about a 1/2 inch, so I'm just going to mark, this is going to be the bottom, and mark what the tops will be. I realize with this napkin, it's not very high quality because, again, I bought it quickly off Amazon on the week of my wedding, so that is what it is. But I'm just going to do my best to keep it as straight as possible, even though it's not going to look straight with this edging. My advice is to do the 1/4 inch dots on the top line as well, so that when you do your guide lines for the over and under here, they are even. So like I said, we're doing guidelines. I'm starting with the blue, and I'm just going to go through each of these dots doing a straight stitch. So straight stitch up, over to the next dot, and straight stitch down. Going over instead of diagonal helps both save thread, and the back ends up looking pretty nice. So you'll see I just tugged right here to keep them loose. That's one thing, since this isn't in a hoop, the threads can pull the fabric. Let me show you like an extreme version would be like this. So you want to just make sure along the way to keep them nice and straight and loose. I'm going to go all the way down, and then we'll do the same with the pink. You can see here at the end of this border that even though we start out pretty loose with the thread, they stay nice and tight at the end. There isn't any sort of bagginess, and you just keep going over and under. Last tip I have is just to do the same number of rows on each edge of the border. We started out here, it turned out nice and dense at 9 rows, so that's what I'm going to do on each of them. That's what it'll look like on the corner. There you have it. Once you have all your guidelines down, you are ready to weave. So come up through the bottom corner with your white thread, and then we're just going to go under and over. The helpful thing about alternating the colors of what I've called guidelines or these straight stitches is that each row you do is going to be one color or the other. So first we're weaving all the pink, and then on the way back it'll be all of the blue, just under and over, and not picking up any thread or any fabric as you go. To do that, to make sure that I'm not picking up any, accidentally nicking the fabric, is to use the blunt side of the needle to go through. And then just the final tip I have is you want to keep the thread, this white weaving thread, pretty loose. So it's okay if in your bottom kind of lines it's not perfectly against the bottom, it kind of stays up. That'll give it the slack it needs when you have more rows to not pucker in. As you can see, this first one I did, I didn't leave that, and it has this sort of wave from where the thread got too tight, and it doesn't lay perfectly flat anymore. It kind of got pulled inward. So just leave a little bit of some extra room, and it'll stay flat. In this row, or this border, that's what I did, and you'll see the difference. Nice straight border, and it lies nice and flat. Just ignore this tangle of thread with my cords. Once you come to the end of the row, finish it out, and then you're going to put your needle down right at the base. So ideally parallel with where it is on the other side where you started, so that the rows, stay as even as possible, but it's not that serious. Come back down. You'll see I'm leaving a good amount of slack in the line and then popping back up right above where I went down to start the next row, and that one will be the blues. And I'll keep doing that back and forth all the way up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you stick around to see the final version of these napkins. Please subscribe so that you can see it all the way to the end, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.